Welcome to Miles of Books, a book-centric show to listen to on your run from Another Mother Runner and Feisty Media. I'm host Sarah Bowen Shea, and my co-host is Ellison Weist. We're going to gab about 4 new books, including the long-anticipated novel from the author of The Help, plus a riveting new Netflix limited series. It's about a classic novel. So hello, Ellison.
Hello, Sarah.
Yeah.
We got a good show ahead of us.
We do. We got a lot to dive into. So let's kick the novel conversation off with The Calamity Club by Kathryn Stockett, author of the wildly popular 2009 novel The Help. And show us the thickness of that book at
600 something, 32 pages, I think.
Something, and it supposedly weighs a little over 2 pounds if you had the hardback edition.
Yeah,
so it's a
which
doorstopper.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it moves quickly. I will say right up front that I was not a fan of The Help. And no shade off Octavia Spencer, but I wasn't a fan of the movie either. So I came into this a little, with my back up a little. And it's a fascinating story and really sort of a romp that takes place in Depression-era Mississippi and essentially features 3 female characters. One is a 12-year-old named Meg, who has been taken to an orphanage after her mother essentially disappeared very unexpectedly. And she's considered, because of her age, one of the big girls. So she has not been adopted and has a pretty tough life there, but really has this can-do spirit about her. And then we've got Birdie, and Birdie is unmarried and has been reminded several times that she is unmarried. And her mother and grandmother, there's some money issues, so they essentially send her up to Oxford to sort of throw herself at the mercy of her younger, much prettier married sister. And once she gets up there, things begin to move in a direction that neither Birdie nor her sister nor her sister's mother-in-law anticipated. And then we've got Charlie. And Charlie is sort of the central figure. Well, Birdie is central, but Charlie's line is that she is someone who has struggled all her life and is a prime example of how these Depression-era times and how a lot of Southern prejudices against poor white and Black women came to pass and affected people. So I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. At 632 pages, I would say maybe they could have skimmed off some of them, but really, like I say, it's a romp. It's filled with a lot of interesting side characters. There's a lot of momentum, and you find yourself rooting for all 3 of these women.
Oh, fantastic. So I will admit I did not read it. I also was not, I did not read The Help. I didn't see the movie. So it just did not call out to me. But how would you say that The Calamity Club differs from The Help?
I'm going to quote, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the name of the New York Times book reviewer who said, and I thought this was a good point, Kathryn Stockett has matured. Her writing has matured. I feel like she took a little bit more chances. She wasn't afraid to go outside of the box. And this time, I felt that she knew more about what she was talking about and didn't have everybody so black and white.
Perhaps almost literally.
Literally, yeah. Although the main characters in this book are white. But it's... She didn't play favorites as much as I felt she did favorites or, unfavorites as she did in Help.
Okay. All right. Well, it's definitely getting a lot of attraction. So, yeah. All right. It's time for a quick sponsor break. We've got 3 more new novels to discuss. So the next novel is by the prolific mystery writer Anthony Horowitz. There it is. His latest is A Deadly Episode. This is Horowitz's sixth book in the series in which he inserts himself very cleverly. It's deemed the Hawthorne and Horowitz series. So take it from here. You give us a plot synopsis.
Well, this one is really sort of like a Russian, doll, a book within a book within
that
a
he
movie.
so specializes in. Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
this add the fact that now what's happening is that he's on the set, both are on the set of The Word is Murder, which was one of his earlier books.
Yes.
And it literally was in the book. And so they were making a movie out of it. And surprise, surprise, the Horowitz character is this very sleek, handsome guy. And the guy that plays, the Hawthorne character gets all the snaps. He's a good-looking guy. And the Horowitz character is sort of this schlep who gets these sort of, nonsensical lines. And so that, sort of gets Horowitz's back up. But the David Kane is the name of the actor who plays
Hawthorne.
Thank you. All these H names.
I know, exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
And early in the book, David Kane is murdered. Mm-hmm. And so there are a lot of people that would like to murder this guy. He was pretty much an ass. And you think that this is where it's going. And I'll be honest, I found the first probably 100 pages of it a little because, okay, we've been here before. Okay, yeah, it's a movie set. Let's get this moving. Mm-hmm. Well, then just over the 200 page mark, all of a sudden, he takes a hairpin turn. Mm-hmm. And we meet someone who then transports Hawthorne back into a case that he did many years ago. Mm-hmm. And he is telling Horowitz this story, and they end up going back into essentially Hawthorne's past, both figuratively and literally. Mm-hmm. That part of the book I found much more compelling.
Much more. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so coming off Close to Death, which was his fifth book, the one before this, I think I had a little bit higher expectations, and I admire the way that Horowitz, did take that turn. But at the same time, I wish he had trimmed the first part and given us more of the second part, because that's much more interesting.
It is much more interesting. I did think it was fascinating the way he interwove the two scenarios, the two plots, the two, kind of current day and then the past together. And it just really picked up a lot of steam when he entered, when the secondary story was revealed. And you had, I had started and I was like, you can kind of occasionally get the sense with the Horowitz novel, as much as we love them, some of these mystery ones can feel a wee bit phoned in.
Yes.
And so I was like, it's going that. It almost felt like, I've never watched Suits, but to me, the David Kane character looked like the dark-haired guy from Suits. And that it just felt like it was like something that would be on USA Network or something.
Right.
But then I got into it, and by about halfway through, I was like, oh yeah, I'm picking up what he was laying down. Like, I thought it was really, really quite good. And so I did an interesting thing. I really wanted to finish it by the time we hopped on the mics today. So and I made some really great progress over the weekend, but I wasn't then. But then two of my three kids were over for dinner last night, and I was like, okay, but spending time with the family, not reading a book.
Mother's Day.
Yes. Right. So I used that feature on Spotify that lets you jump between an audiobook and an actual book.
Cool.
You just use your camera feature to take a look at. You don't even take a picture of it, where you are in the book, and it takes you there to that precise spot in the audiobook.
Wow.
And I mean, sure, I ended at the end of a chapter, so all I would have had to do was go to chapter 19, but it was kind of fun to use the little magic.
Cool.
So then this morning on my elliptigo ride, I listened to the last close to 100 pages of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was fantastic. And great narrator. It's Rory Kinnear, who anyone who watches British TV shows, he oftentimes plays the prime minister. He has a very round head.
Oh, I
and
remember. Oh, yes. Yeah.
yeah, and I won't.
Yeah.
He was played the prime minister in the debut episode of Black Mirror, which is a show.
Right.
That episode I never want to watch again, and we will not
I don't
discuss.
Either. And what a way to be introduced to that series.
To be known. Oh, yes, exactly. So, but he does
enough said.
Yes, he does a fantastic job with the various voices of the characters, particularly in the I only listened to the second half, but he did a great job with different accents and tones of voices. It was really quite remarkable. So I would think.
And the other thing that I thought was, Hawthorne has always been a mystery, his background and everything to us, to the reader, and to Horowitz. And I thought that this, sort of poked the bear a little bit. We don't get the entire story, but it did sort of open the door a wee bit and let us look in.
Right, and it cues it up obviously for forthcoming novels. And so Horowitz, sure, they're not Donna Tartt level novels, but you have to wait a long time between Donna Tartt novels.
Oh boy, do you?
Yes. And so the one of the many joys of an Anthony Horowitz book is there's always another one on the horizon.
Right.
So it's, you can just be like, okay, I'm going to read every novel that Anthony Horowitz writes. It's going to be entertaining. It's probably going to be a great audiobook. I feel like he's like an ace in the pocket,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, our third book is one that a few weeks ago, Ellison, you predicted would garner a lot of attention this summer, and you proved prescient. Yes. So it is John of John by Douglas Stuart. And Oprah recently picked it for her book club, and just all sorts of great things that you're going to talk about. So, lay it on us.
Yeah. And for those of you who were as blown away by this novel as I am, or anticipate being blown away, he's doing a huge U.S. tour. He's been here in the Southeast. I think he, before that, might have been up in the Northeast. I'm not sure. But if you go on, it's Douglas Stuart, Stuart. You can probably find it. This book has stayed with me, and it's sort of like a fine wine because, you open it, you let it breathe, and it just is a gift that just keeps on going, at least for me. This is his third novel, and his first one, Shuggie Bain, won the Booker back in, I think it was 2022. And this one, I'm almost like willing to, put a chunk of money on it.
The Poly Market.
Yeah. I mean, and the story is about a young man whose birth name is John Callum. He's the son of John, but he's known as Cal. He's 19 years old. He's just finished university over in Galway. And he gets a summons from his father who says, your gran, who Cal is very close to, is not doing well. And the broad hint is you need to come home. You've graduated. You're not doing anything over there, and we need you home. So he does come home, and I have never been so fascinated with the description of, it's an island in the Hebrides. I was both repelled by it because they talk about how it's, biting wind. And yet also you just get this sense of place that is so fascinating, and that it just sort of wraps its arms around you and you cannot get away from it. And so I know that we've talked about it has some fantastic characters, but that sense of place, Stuart weaves it in so well that it's like another character.
Wow.
And so Cal comes home to the croft that his father, John, works, and he and his father have a very tense relationship. His father is a lay minister with a very strict Presbyterian church, and insists that Cal start going back to church with him. Turns out his granny is doing well.
Oh, shoot.
She's a totally different character. She's actually his maternal grandmother, and you get to hear about why John and his wife, Cal's mother, are no longer together. But she's a fantastic character. Some of the lines that Stuart gives her are great. But essentially, it's a story about a young man coming home and looking about and wondering, why am I here? Should I stay here? And yet also realizing that the people around him have been his community and seeing that there's this very close knit community. And yet Cal is gay and he struggles with that because he assumes that all of his family does not know that. He's definitely not out of the closet. He's lonely. But then he starts to look around and sees there are other people there that are lonely. His father's hiding a secret that we learn about much, much, much before Cal does, and that informs the way John, Cal's father, operates in the world and with his son. I cannot say enough about this book.
Wow. Wow.
It's one of those, like I say, I finished it, and yet every day it still sits with me, and in a very, very compelling way.
That's fantastic. Wow. Awesome. All right. Well, this is a good spot for a quick break. Stay with us. Okay. Our fourth and final novel in book form is Take Me With You. Has that very fun cover by Steven Rowley. And like our friend Anthony Horowitz, Rowley has the delightful ability and talent to produce numerous books in a short amount of time. This is Rowley's sixth novel in a decade, with the second sequel to the Guncle coming out later this year. I mean, how often does a novelist have two brand new novels come out in a year? His publicist must love him. So the Guncle is supposedly his best known novel, and like this book, Take Me With You, they're both set in Palm Springs, California, and both of them have a gay male protagonist. And like all of Rowley's novels, this one is, to me, just a delightful blend of warmth and humor. So I really enjoyed this novel. I've already recommended it to several friends. Yet when I start telling folks a synopsis of the plot, I start telling one of my pickleball buddies about it. You know, that it's the story of a middle-aged man whose longtime husband is seemingly abducted by aliens. My friend got this funny, quizzical look like, I didn't peg Sarah for a crackpot.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'm getting a real Portland vibe here. Yeah.
So hear me out, folks. So the main character is a college professor and comedy writer named Jesse. And in the very first chapter, there's not much prelude to this. Jesse's partner of nearly 30 years, Norman, is whisked off into the sky by a beam of light from while he's in their backyard, and it's near Joshua Tree National Park.
Of course it is.
Yes. And I mentioned the park as the chapter titles in the novel are all borrowed from U2 songs off the seminal 1987 album Joshua Tree. So that took me back a little, but I do love that album.
Yeah.
Very strong memories of it.
Yes.
So, and Jesse, rather than tell the authorities or even members of Norman's family, such as his younger sister, who ends up being a major character in the novel, Jesse hides his husband's disappearance while struggling with being alone for the first time in his adult life. And he's evaluating his life and navigating the emotional challenge of being left behind. And so that's definitely the theme, the being left behind. So instead of being a book set around alien abduction, that's just kind of the thing that kicks this all off. It's a story about losing a partner and resilience in the face of that. So
very well done. Huh.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
thanks.
Sounds like it could be. Yeah, once I get past the alien abduction, you lost me there. But
but with the wit and humor, I just found this book so charming. And I'll repeat the adjective again. Jesse is very charming. He's very likable. It's definitely not my favorite Rowley novel. My favorite is his 2019 book called The Editor. I believe you were a fan of The Editor as well.
Right.
And the editor is set in New York City, so opposite coast, and it follows a young writer as his life has changed when his book is picked up by Jackie Kennedy Onassis. And then that leads to a mentorship that first forces him to kind of face his past. And I feel overall Steven Rowley is a reliably quirky storyteller who has a gift with words and language, and I just really enjoy his writing style. It's plucky. It's again, to use the word charming. I enjoy his writing style a lot. So, and then Ellison, while I was, as folks might notice, I'm telling the synopsis of this novel.
Yes, you are.
It's a first time for. There's a first time for everything, isn't there?
Mama's proud, baby.
And I'm going for extra credit.
Ooh.
I push myself to do my favorite podcast party trick of yours, which is if you liked so-and-so author, you'll enjoy this one.
Take it away.
Okay. So here goes. I think if you're like me and you're a big fan of the Tales of the City series by Armistead Maupin, thank you. I loved those books so much.
Oh, great.
Then you'll enjoy Steven Rowley's version of fiction. And with Rowley, I also get whiffs, just little hints of John Kenney, whose 2025 novel, I See You've Called In Dead, we both thoroughly enjoyed. And I think back onto that book often.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I've recommended that book, I have usually gotten a phone call or a text from somebody saying, thank you so much. Several people have listened to it on audio going on long trips and just said it was a great way. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So I just recommended that one over the weekend. So anyway, so how did I do on the
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm so proud.
Folks, this is why you want to watch us on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah.
To see us get maudlin. Fake
and
maudlin.
Verklempt. Yeah.
Verklempt. Oh, our favorite word.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then in the middle of the night, I was thinking about this podcast recording, and I realized that we need to talk about the Netflix limited series, Lord of the Flies, based on the novel by William Golding, the classic novel by William Golding.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason it was fresh on my mind is because my husband Jack and my son John, who's home for a few weeks, we've been watching it together. I specifically was like, okay, when John comes home, we're going to watch Lord of the Flies. And we have just been glued to the screen. So far, there's 4 episodes. We have watched 3 of them, and hopefully John will get home from his hanging out with his friends in time for us to watch the 4th episode tonight. It is just phenomenal. The cinematography is very creative, the use of color saturation and just color in general is really fascinating. The young actors are just supremely talented. You know, it's an entire cast of children or young people, and that could go very wrong in the wrong hands. And they're just they're genius casting, incredibly talented, and then a haunting instrumental soundtrack. It's just the whole thing is so incredibly well done, and it's really resonant for our times without being at all heavy-handed, despite being a novel that came out, I don't know,
I think around 1960 or no later than that, I think.
I would have pegged the 50s, but you may well be right with the 60s. I mean, obviously, a lot of us probably read it in school, in elementary school, and it's just fantastic. So I think this series only came out last week or something.
That's what I was thinking. I know it's relatively new, and I read the book in junior high, and it scared the pants off me. Oh, and then there was an older version, a movie made, and that, and I guess scared the pants off me, maybe it's not right. It was very disturbing. And the book's disturbing. That one was disturbing, and I'm sure.
Oh, it's very disturbing. Oh, yeah. John came downstairs this morning and was like, oh, Mom, I had such trouble falling asleep last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But also the whole, I sound like a little bit of a nut job going back to talking about the use of color, but it is so innovative. And there's this one character, Simon, who the forest is obviously very lush on this deserted island, and yet when he's going through it, almost all the plants look red. Like the leaves look red. It's almost like you're walking through. It's like Japanese maple red, but yet the palm fronds and all this tropical vegetation. And so then this morning when I was out on my elliptical ride, I saw these small red leafed plants in amongst the green grasses. So I crouched down and took a very artsy photo and texted it to John. And I was like, "Oh, look, Simon's here with us."
Great. Now I can't sleep tonight. Mom. Thanks, Mom.
So, so it's very literary. Just, it's awesome. So,
Okay.
and I think it would be very enjoyable to watch with kind of probably young people 16 and up. I wouldn't, maybe 14 and up. It is not children's fare.
No.
True children's fare.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and whenever I think about it, I think of a homemade spear.
Oh,
There's
there's lots of those. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell what resonated with me. Great.
Right. All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. Please tell your literature-loving pals and members of your book group about this podcast. Miles of Books is a production of Another Mother Runner and Feisty Media. For more on Feisty and our other shows, events, workshops, and Feisty Fest, visit feisty.co. That's feisty.co. And thank you very much, Ellison. Love you.
See ya.